Welcome back to the I Love Keap show. My name is Tyler Garnes and I am your host. Today, I'm really excited to share with you a little project that I've been working on that I think showcases the powerful use of Keap in so many ways. It's fun because this is a project that's doing so much good in the world right now. We're all aware of the conflict in Ukraine, and this project helps those Ukrainian refugees in a big way. So let me explain what's happening. A couple of weeks ago, I get a text from a good friend, Hal Halliday. Many of you may know him. He used to be the Chief People Officer, I think that was his title, Chief People Officer, at Infusionsoft back in the day. I've known him for over 20 years. He was the CEO of an internet startup that I worked at in college. He's an amazing guy, a phenomenal leader, and just super great guy. So anyways, he texts me and says, hey, my wife is heading up this project to gather quilts, handmade quilts, to send to Ukrainian refugees to keep them warm and to help them feel our love and support, etc. Can you help and put together a little website for this? I was like, sure, no problem. So I talked with Hal and Gina, his wife, and we talk about the project a little bit, and I quickly realized that this is an opportunity to not just put together a website, but actually create something really, really cool and help the quilters and help Gina and her friends who are organizing this thing manage this a lot better, especially if it blows up. They need to be able to manage hundreds, if not thousands, of quilts being sent in. So let me show you a little bit about what we've done. This will hopefully open your eyes to what's possible with Keap. This is one example, but hopefully as you listen to this and see this example, that you realize that there are applications in your business as well. So let's jump right into this, and I'm going to show you how it works and explain a bit about how Keap is being used. It's one of those opportunities where I tell people all the time, look, if you can dream it, you can build it. Keap is so powerful. It's so flexible. And with the API, you can do so many different things. And this example does use the API a fair amount, but it's nothing super, super extensive. I got the call from Hal. We talked about it. I built the basics of this over a weekend, just me, one person. So these are things that are possible and shouldn't cost you a fortune. So let's get into it. Let's jump right over here to my other screen, and I'll show you the website. So here's the website. I'm not a graphic designer, so I'm sure it could look better. Some of you will look at this and go, there's a lot going on. Yes, I agree. But we're doing this kind of on the fly here, and I think in the end it looks pretty good. So anyways, the idea is to make a call out to all the quilters out there. Say, hey, make a quilt. A handmade quilt, or if you've got one sitting by, or you have a lightly used one, feels new, wash it, send it in, and we will get it to Ukrainian refugees. So that's the idea. And there's a little video here explaining the whole project and how it works. What you'll see down here, I'm going to zoom in on this screen just a little bit so you can see better if you're watching on the screen. You can see down here there's a quilt counter. So this has only been live a week and a half, something like that. And it's up to 471 quilts and picking up steam. I expect that it potentially is going to be thousands of quilts, which is just mind-blowing. So many people willing to help and donate their time and their energy to create these quilts and then get them mailed to these Ukrainian refugees all over the world. So it's up to 471. This is a real-time quilt counter, as you will see. Now, just a little hint, this is counting opportunity records. You may be wondering, what's an opportunity record? If you're in Keap Pro or Keap Max, an opportunity record is equivalent to a deal. If you're in Keap Max Classic, then you know what an opportunity record is. The reason we did that is because a person might want to donate more than one quilt. So if they want to donate more than one quilt, we can't tag the same person twice for two quilts. So we create an additional opportunity record. Plus, each quilt goes through the process individually. And so we'll get into the details here in a moment, but the website, of course, explains the whole process and how it works and what you do, and there's stories, and it's great. And the ultimate call to action is to donate. You come down to this web form, and you can see that in the web form, there are two options. I can either send in a quilt or I can donate money to help with the shipping costs. If I donate money, then if I choose that option in the form, then the form is going to redirect me to a page where I have instructions with Venmo and I can donate money through Venmo. If I choose send a quilt, then it'll take me through a different process. So I'm going to go ahead and fill out this form and take you through the process here. So what you'll need to know is that this form is a standard Keap web form. Nothing special about it. Standard Keap web form with name, email, and then a radio button option to send a quilt or to donate money. I'm going to choose send a quilt. I'm going to hit next step. And since I fill this thing out all the time, demoing it and testing it, it's giving me the CAPTCHA stuff here. But we'll go ahead and check all the options here. Apparently I'm not getting all the crosswalks. What am I missing here? All right, here we go. Okay, so I'm taken to a page that says quilts I am donating, and I can add as many quilts as I would like to donate. There's a little notice that says you haven't started any quilts yet. Hit the button below to get started. So I'll click that button, register a quilt. Now this is a form. This is a custom form. This is not a form built inside of Keap. It's a form that is going to submit information to the website and then use the API to get that information into Keap. So let's say I want to make a quilt with hearts on it to share the love. So I'll call this Hearts Quilt. So I need to name each quilt. Then it's going to pull in city, state, country from my contact record, which it did there. If I haven't submitted that information yet to my contact record, then it's just going to be blank and I'll enter in my city, state, and country. Then I can add a note that will go to the person who receives this quilt. So I can add a personal note. I'll just say, hi there. I hope you feel our love and support, right? You can write whatever you want there, of course. Then I will click the button, register your quilt. So what's happening now is it's taking that information, submitting it through the API into Keap. Keap is then creating an opportunity record. You know, opportunity records we typically use for sales, but this is now workflow automation. So it creates an opportunity record. That opportunity record title is Hearts Quilt. The stage is started. See, now I've started the process. What are the stages here? Well, just like a sales process has stages, the quilt process has stages. First, I start. Now I'm going to go work on the quilt. Once it's done, I'm going to package it up and ship it. And when I do that, I'm going to click this button, print, form, and ship. And when I click that I have shipped it, it's going to change the stage to shipped to Utah, which is where they're collecting all of these. Then the status will change. The stage will change to ship to Utah. Then when they ship it off to the Ukrainian refugees, it will change, the stage will change to shipped to refugees. And then when a refugee actually receives it, the stage will change to received by a recipient. And those stages will always show right here on this screen because this screen loads real-time the opportunity record data. Okay, so here I am. I have my quilt started. Now I'm going to go make my quilt. When I'm done making my quilt, I come back here and I click print, form, and ship. So I'm going to click this, and it opens up a window. It gives me some instructions. Print the page below, and then include the printed page with your quilt and mail it to this address. Once you've mailed your quilt, click the button below to let us know it's on the way, right? So you can see here that when I click print, it's going to print the page that is below there, and it has 2 QR codes. So let's come out of this real quick and you'll just see it a little bigger here. So you can see that it's got a little label. This label is being attached to the quilt. So when it's delivered to somebody in Poland or wherever these refugees might be, then they will get this note. So it tells who it's from. So it has my name, my city, my state, my country, and it has the note. Hi there, I hope you feel our love and support. Now over here, you'll see there's also some instructions in Ukrainian and some instructions in English. They're the same instructions, they're just in English. And basically what that's telling them is, hey, when you get this quilt, go ahead and scan this QR code. When the recipient scans that QR code, they'll be taken to a page where they have an opportunity to send a note back to the quilter, in this case, me, Tyler Garnes, right? So they can send a note back. Hey, thanks so much. I got your quilt. This is wonderful. We love you. We appreciate you, whatever, right? So that's what that QR code does. Down below, you'll see a section that says admin only. It's got the quilt by, and it has my name, and it has the contact ID, just in case they need to look this up inside of Keap. has the name of the quilt, which is also the name of the opportunity record, and then it has another QR code. This QR code is for the admin people only. So what happens is when it gets received in Utah, they will scan that QR code, and that will change the status or the stage to received in Utah. And then when they ship it off, they can scan it again, and it will change the stage to shipped to refugees. And then when the recipient gets it, they will scan this one, and then that will mark it as received by recipient. Okay, so that is the process here. And so let me show you the admin area. We'll go ahead and open up a new tab here. Hello Cottons / okay, this is of course password protected. All right, so in the admin area, they can click list quilts, and they can list all the quilts that have been registered, and then they can see them. So this is basically creating a list of all of these opportunity records, and they can say, all right, show them all to me, show only the ones that are marked as started, show me only the ones that are shipped to Utah or arrived in Utah or shipped to refugee or arrived in country or delivered to recipient, right? They can filter by that. So maybe they want to say, hey, show me all the ones that have arrived in Utah, right? And then they'll click this button, and it shows them. We've got this one here, right? There's actually a ton more already in Utah. They just haven't been scanned in yet. I think there's over 300 in Utah already. So that's amazing. Now, I showed you when they receive this with the print label attached and they scan this admin QR code, here's basically where it takes them. It takes them to this page. So they see Manage Quilt, the name of the quilt, and then they can change the stage or the status right here just with this little drop down. Again, that's just changing the stage in the opportunity record. And so they can mark it as shipped to Utah or arrived in Utah or shipped to refugee or whatever. So every time the admins scan that QR code, they will update the stage for that particular quilt or update the status right there from that drop down record. All right. Now, sometimes the admins will get quilts that are sent in without having gone through this process. So they can add quilts, and we created it so that they can add quilts in bulk. So they have organizations, churches, and other nonprofit organizations donating quilts in bulk. Hey, here's 20 quilts, here's 50 quilts, whatever. And so they can put in the name and information, and then they can put a brief description of the quilts, one per line, and then register quilts, and it'll register all of those quilts all at once. Also, coming back to the list, in those situations, they need to print the labels. And so they can just click this little print right here, and it will open up that same print page. They can print the label for that particular quilt. And then sometimes people are registering, they're testing out the system or whatever, and so they have a little delete button here where they can hit, yeah, you know what, that was just a test, we'll delete that. And then they can hit OK, and it gets deleted, or they hit cancel. So that's what's going on. It's super cool. One of the things that's really great about this as well is that since we're using opportunity records, every time the stage is moved from started to shipped to arrived to received by recipient or whatever, each one of those stage moves in a campaign can trigger a goal, which of course can then trigger follow-up. So the quilters can get updates automatically on their quilt. Okay, it's arrived in Utah. Okay, it's been shipped off to the refugees. Oh, a recipient has received it. They can get updates every step along the way. They can also log in and see. They can just log in and see, oh, okay, my stage has changed. Let's do that actually. So let's come back here to the admin area, the Hearts quilt that I created. Let's just say that I sent it in, and now it's been shipped to Utah. Transition back here so you can see my screen. And so now it's been shipped to Utah, and actually, no, let's do it the way that a quilter would do it. They would actually open up this, print this, and then they'll say, okay, I'm putting it in the mail now, mark as shipped. So when they do that, and then you can see now the status is shipped to Utah. We'll close that, pretending that we shipped it, and then we came back and logged in. So now instead of seeing it started, it says shipped to Utah. I can print the packing slip again just in case they forgot to do it. We can do that again. But then once it moves past ship to Utah, then that button won't show up anymore because there's no need for the quilter to see that button anymore. So let's say it arrives in Utah. So we'll come back here and we'll change it to arrived in Utah, update status. Now again, that's the admin side. For the quilter, they log back in again, and they can see, or they'll receive an email, hey, this thing's arrived, we got it, we're going to be sending it off soon. And so they can see the status has changed here. Now again, this is just one quilt. Some of these quilters are creating many, many quilts. And so they would see all of those quilts listed as tiles here on this page. So anyways, this I think is just an exciting project. I think it's a great case study for how to use Keap creatively. Yes, it does use the API, which is custom coding to make some of that stuff work. But in the end, this is not a ton. I had this conversation with Hal and Gina. I built the core of this over a weekend. We've made some tweaks and some changes, of course, over the last few days. But I built it by myself over the weekend. Not because I'm amazing, but because the work really isn't that extensive. So hopefully it just opens up your mind to what's possible with Keap. I also want to invite you, if you know quilters, or if you just want to help with this effort, go to Instagram. Go to Hello Cottons is the name of the Instagram account that is managing all of this. This is Gina and her friends heading up this whole effort. Go to Hello Cottons, like their posts, share their posts, spread the word, talk to quilters that you know. Let's get those numbers up. We're up to 471 quilts already. Again, just after a few days, it's kind of exploding. We expect there to be thousands, but help get the word out, and this will be super fun. It's a great use of Keap. It's a great effort to be involved in. And again, hopefully it gives you some ideas. If you have questions about how Keap could be used in your business or for some other project, send those questions in. Let me create a little video or a little podcast episode and showcase for you creative ways how you might use Keap in your business or in your efforts or in some project like this to change the world. It's an amazing piece of software. I absolutely love it. Stay tuned for more. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like us on Instagram, do all of that good social stuff, and stay tuned for more great tips on the I Love Keap show.